Hey everyone, welcome back to the video. I hope you all are doing great. Remember that brilliant idea in your head that was stuck, but you weren't able to execute it due to the lack of coding skills? Well, not anymore. Because gone are those days when you had to have the perfect skill of coding. Today, we dive into the no code movement, which is completely revolutionizing the way how anyone could build their own platform or application without even writing a single code. So, without wasting more time, let's get started.
What if you have an idea for a startup, you want to build something but you don't know how to code? Well, there's a big movement right now that I think really started gaining steam last year, and that movement is called no code.
It is a movement of these tools and platforms that basically allow you to take your idea to startup and using minimal time and resources and no technical development required.
If no code is going to replace coding, programming, technology, why you should even bother to learn programming if WordPress, Weebly, Shopify, all sorts of tools are there.
It is our job to create computing technology such that nobody has to program.
Jarvis, you up?
And that the programming language is human.
A company that was built entirely leveraging no-code tools and was able to generate $3 million in revenue.
So, think about the endless possibilities because of this. An entrepreneur can convert his or her idea into a prototype. A small business can customize their own kind of tool. A student who has an assignment or a project can convert it into an interactive application for learning purposes. It's like, the non-code movement is all about democratizing the app development. Also, making it to reach the new wave of citizen developers all around. Now, let's talk about this non-code movement one by one. So, first let's talk about visual interface, or we can say it as beyond drag and drop. Forget complex programming languages or the cryptic syntax. A non-code movement platform goes beyond visual interface of drag and drop functionality. It's like, you're building with the help of a digital building blocks. In a sense, you have pre-built components which you can utilize for various purposes, but you can customize it in the most advanced way as much as possible. If you ask me how, here's how it is. First of all, comes is component library. Now, what is a component library? A component library is a variety of components or elements that you could use for your platform or application. For example, let's assume that you want to have an application where the user is clicking various places, and those places you need to have buttons. Now, this button is the component, and let's assume that you want to have a different style of button or design or functionality to be different. This functionality or this design difference or different style of buttons that you have is called as a component library. The different set of buttons is basically called as a component library. It's basically like a Lego brick that you would like to have it on your application. Second thing is conditional logic. A conditional logic plays a crucial role for any application or platform. It's something like a certain rules that the backend has to follow in order to give you the right response. For example, let's take that you are building a fitness app. Now, for this fitness app, you want to have a certain kind of conditions or rules that the backend has to follow. In the sense, whenever a user comes and he wants to click on certain particular routine or certain particular exercise, it has to show certain kind of result. This condition is required, and that's what the non-code platforms allow you to have. Third thing is basically a very crucial thing that a non-code platform should have, that is API integration. Now, API integration opens up many doors and it plays a very crucial role for an application to perform. It's like, interlinking two different platforms at once. Now, for the people who don't know what API is basically application programming interface. Now, it's like a key to a closed door. Once opened, you have a lot of possibilities. The possibility it brings in is payment gateways, cloud storage, your social media platforms could be integrated, and many things with the help of API integration. Now that we have spoken about the visual interface, let's talk about the citizen developers, because it's not just about the platform, it's also the people who are developing the platform too. So, citizen developers, or we can call them as the new breed of creators. Well, who are these? These are everyday people who have great ideas but no coding experience. But they are leveraging the platform as much as possible. Here are some of the examples. First one is marketing specialist. Imagine this. There is a marketing specialist who wants to collect lead on a particular event or seminar, and he finds a lot of people who he feels are his potential customers for his business. He can build an application where he can collect information of the customer or the business, what the name is, Gmail, phone number, and etc. about the business or the person, which he can store it and then integrate it with the help of CRM tools or the API which I told you, API integration onto his website. Second one is spooky but true. The teachers. Well, a teacher who wants to keep his class or her class interactive can make the use of the non-code platforms. How? Well, he can bring an application where there can be use of quiz, flashcards, student track of his whole complete or her complete academic calendar of how they're performing. With this, the student will have an idea. At the same time, a lot of activities can be performed. Third one is the most important and crucial one, which can play a key role if they use the non-code platforms. That is non-profitable organization, NGOs. Now, these organizations can use this platform in order to build an application where they can create the volunteer registration or the list of projects they're going to perform or what they're going to be doing. Secondly, what kind of information to be gone, or what kind of a community can be built, or how they can create an perfect environment where there is a community base on the platform where they can talk about what to be done. So a proper utilization of the non-code tool, these things can be possible. Now that we have spoken about the various citizen developers that utilize the platform or leverage the platform, let's talk about some of the platforms which are on the pace and are really doing good. So the first one we have is Webflow. Now, Webflow is that platform where you want to have that perfectly designed, appealing platform for your business. If you want to build that perfect, professional portfolio business application, I think Webflow is the right place where it will, give you that interface. Also, it will give you those designs and all of those elements all together at one place. And Webflow will also have those elements which you will be looking into, rather than having it, doing it manually in app developing and stuff. So without doing much of a coding and stuff, actually, to be honest, not much of coding is required, but without any coding itself, you are trying to get that professional design for your business or platform. Second we have is Bubble. For that complex, business application, or to have that interaction, or to have that combination of different platforms all together at one place, I think Bubble plays that supreme role in complex application building and certain things, where you just have to give in certain prompts and certain things and certain examples of how it has to be going, and certain elements, if you drag and drop and all of those things, it will try to give you those best application which you are thinking in your mind. So Bubble is another platform which will help you in building that perfect web-based application, as well as that application that your business is looking for. Next we have is Glide. Now if you want to create a application within that fraction of a second, I think Glide is the right platform. Let's take an example that you have a Google Sheet of data of your customers, a lot of data of your customers, what they're purchasing, what their orders were, what are their frequent orders, all of these things, and you want to convert this into an application. Why? Well, let's assume that you're using it for your sales team. Your sales team wants to know all of these things, like when the order was placed, how many orders were placed, the frequent orders of the items, and all of these things. I think Glide is the perfect platform which will convert this and create it into an application. So it's that perfect, flash of a second platform. Lastly, we have is Adol. Adol is a platform which I would suggest any of the users who are watching to build on, because most of the platforms which I spoke right now are those platforms which are typically based on web developing or web based application, and they might need that phone browser for working functionality and stuff. But this platform is quite different because it helps you build that native application for your platform or app, and the native application can be integrated in many things, which will also allow you to have different API systems and all those things. So a native app also will help you in the later stage of having it in your app store, play store. So if your business or platform is looking forward for that native application building, I think this platform is the best one. Like, without much of programming languages and stuff, you are able to get that native app. I think this is the perfect platform. Now, all of these platforms which I spoke about, I will do leave all of these link in the description. You can check it out. You can have an idea of how these things work, and maybe, who knows, you can start working on your next application too. So now let's talk about the positive effects as well as the limitation, or I can say it as the power of having the non-code movement, and limitations of this non-code movement too. So now let's talk about the power of this non-code movement. How exactly it's all about. Is it really that powerful? Well, it is for certain kind of people whom we think it's going to benefit the most. First of all is the startup owners and the entrepreneurs, because if they have an idea which has to be converted into a business, and there is to be an application or a platform that is helping it happen, I think it's going to help these people. Secondly, as I mentioned, the citizen developers, these people who have great ideas but they want to convert them into prototypes or to an application. I think these non-code platforms will help them a lot, as they have no coding knowledge. And same goes to the startup owners as well as the entrepreneurs, or people who have absolutely no idea about how coding works, and they really don't want to invest on a tech team or programming person. I think these platforms will play a crucial role, especially the movement of non-code movement will play an integral role for their application or business to grow. But it doesn't mean that it is just restricted to these people. What about the people who know programming? What about the people who are into the tech stuff? What about them? Well, it will also play a major role for them. How? Assume this: they have a project that has to be completed within one day or within half a day, and it's a huge project, and they really have absolutely no idea how to go with, because it's going to take a lot of time and programming and stuff. Well, even though they have the programming knowledge, but it'll take time. I think these platforms or this movement is going to help them too with getting these things done, and based on the coding knowledge they can customize it the way they want. So it's definitely going to help a lot of people with the movement that is coming in, and with many applications to come further in the market. I think it's going to help a lot of people, but simultaneously there are limitations too. So let's talk about them. So first of all is scalability. Now you think about this: there's a platform which is building your application or platform, but you don't know how to scale it the next level. It's gonna build you the first stage and give it to you, but let's assume there's a competitor that has come to your market. and or there is an already a competitor existing in the market, and you want to scale it to the next level, these platforms are really not capable in order to do that for you. And I think scalability is not just one issue that will create that problem. There is another problem, that is customization. Now you give the prompt, you give all those recommendations or style or image, or let's assume that you did the drag and drop. How much ever you do, the end result of customization wouldn't be the way you want. If you have a competitor who is having the best platform design and stuff, and your design of your platform is done by these non-code platforms, I don't think so it's going to be the best as much as possible to compete with them. And to have that customization of it being yours, it's going to play a crucial role. Now, as I said, it being yours, the next thing is based on that, that is vendor lock-in. Now, most of the non-code platforms, they not really like to shell out that this application is not built by them. They want that that watermark or trademark to come on their other applications or platform. For example, let's assume that you want to build an application and you use these platforms. There is going to be that watermark and that vendor lock-in, where they are not going to allow you to uh, customize it and do it as much as it is yours. First of all, it's like a business. They also want to have their market captured, and it shouldn't be like you are doing everything and they're getting nothing. So it's going to be like the win-win for two, but that win-win won't be that satisfying for the other end. So it's like that vendor logged in coming into, it wouldn't be the safest thing for both you and the customer. Because let's assume that you have your platform built, and in one particular place the customer has to put in the details, and the customer would hesitate to give the details because he would feel that this is a third party application or a platform that is coming from the business. So all of these things will play a crucial role when you're building your own application or a web page or even your platform. So all of these things will have an ample effect for your sales, your profits, as well as how you're going to show it to your customers or audience. All of these things will play one crucial role. Now, with all of these coming to the end of this video, what it is how this non-code movement is going to play a crucial role. Well, this definitely is playing a crucial role in many of the people's life, like entrepreneurs, startup owners, citizen developers, teachers, as I said, now marketing specialists, and many more. Not just all of these. A non-code movement such as like this is playing a crucial role, and cherry on the cake, if you have AIs and stuff integrated, I think it will play a crucial role in the future, and how applications will be built without writing even a single code, where you might have an AI where you can just chat with the AI that I would particularly want this, try to build me that, and it will literally build that application for you. Well, it's a far cry for all of these things to happen right now, but I definitely feel that this movement that has been started by certain applications, certain developers and stuff, I think it's a business for all of them, but at the same time it's helping most of these people who are trying to achieve certain things, because people who have no coding no coding skills and knowledge about it, I think this will play a crucial role for them. And it's also about how you're going to go away from what you were limited to. As say that sky is not the limit, what you can do better. So even if you're a business owner, if you're a freelancer, if you're a teacher, if you're a student who are watching this, there is an opportunity out there for you to go and try it out. So my personal suggestion would be go to these platforms, go to check out the platforms which are there in the internet, try to do something, or whatever ideas coming in your head, try to implement this. Who knows, there might be the next business application or platform coming out from you. You never know. So this movement is definitely the first spark of that fire to burn the entire forest. So we will be staying tuned for further like this, but all I can say for now is let's just hope for the best thing to come in this moment, and just keep an eye on what the next thing is waiting out and utilize the opportunity. So that's it for this video. See you in the next one. you.